Well, welcome back to Dutch Diecast Collector. If you're new to the show, also a very big welcome. Today we got a very big plane in the house, at least a big box. This is the Sukhoi Su-22M4 It's a bit in between Su-22M4 they call it. I'm not sure if this, I believe this was a 17 in 1989. From the Iraqi Air Force. The colors are looking very stunning. The box is always very cool. I do love these boxes. I have them on top of the cabinets in the room upstairs because they pop out always really well. So the scheme is really nicely done. I think this was a recommendation by many collectors to get an Iraqi one. The details inside is always very good, nicely packaged. It's limited to 600 produced, so be careful if you want one. You're gonna have to be quick. Still for sale, but I don't know for how long it's gonna take. Now the pitot we all know, you have seen many of my movies. They are not very good. You have to glue them in almost with white glue. But for the rest, a very cool model, but always watch out with the little flare pots. But we'll dig into that now. So the box itself, nicely packaged, foam underlayment, and then with a top of plastic over it, a heat form. It is originally from Calibrings, this design, but was sold to JCW to finish and complete. Which is okay, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just a tactic because they didn't want to finish it. Which was a shame on one end. But yeah, the packs, you just have to remove them, little locks. And then you can pop the box off, which is really nicely done. Now, my dealer already inspected it, so Diecast Diorama, thank you for that. They already had a quick peek if everything was okay. But as I mentioned, the flare pots on top, be very careful. I pulled one time on these and they snap off. Then the tail wings are also very sensitive. These little guys, there's only one pack holding true and true. And for the rest, they're quite bulky, they're quite good. So I had the pitots, as I mentioned, you're gonna have to white glue them in there or blue tack. And then the collector's card, of course, which everyone likes. Nicely done again. Really clean looking plastic card. I always put them in my planes because I like the details, and especially cool to show people that don't have anything with planes, like how many are made. Then the weapons and the covers and so on, the pilot figure, nicely done. These ones are really sticking out badly, by the way, on the plane. You will see it in a sec, it's quite interesting, from what I've seen from images from other collectors already. Now, it does come with a manual, which is very nice. It's well detailed, I'm very happy with that always. Where does what go, nicely done, and also where the weaponry go, and also where does the pitot go that you need, and the other part. The rest is blank on the back, but I'm going to use this today because I don't put them often together. So the wheels, let's have a look, because this one is going to go on its wheels. If you want to see the stand, by the way, I have a video of the stand with a Polish fitter. So go to my playlists and you can find that one. There's some metal now in this assembly, so that's nice. The wheel and so on feels really cold, so I'm assuming there's some metal now. I'm not sure if that changed, but and I need to check again my old planes because I have collected them for all. But it's magnetized, so that's really cool. Magnets are not always a stuff, but we'll see. And then, of course, the closed gear hatches. Now, we're not going to use them today, but it's good to know that they are there. Then the plane itself, best grab it on the nose a little bit and gently wriggle it out. Just take your time with it. It's a delicate plane, but very detailed. Let's get everything out of the way. Luckily, my assistant is sitting close to me, my wife. Then the plane itself, I cannot say more than a stunner. Really cool looking. Oh man. Yeah, I don't see anything right now that I say like, oh shit, that's horrible. Watch out with these little guys, they're sometimes a bit loose. So if you're a bit disappointed, they can be sitting a bit weird. Now there is a little pack that holds them in there in the frame. So you should not be able to push them over, but if you do, you break it probably. Then again, also the tail fin, very careful with this one. And of course the pack holders and the body holding of the weaponry. Also not always good. And fun to see here, you see the staining that they do on the factory, so they make them stained looking. Now the wings fold nicely, and here you also see that same staining material. It's quite funny to see it. Makes the plane look a bit more realistic, and that's what I like about JC wings. Although harder to put together and a bit more of an advanced level, they do make nice detailed planes. And the inlets, by the way, the same story. So the inlets when you're on air on the ground, so that will suck on the sides. They're also nicely partially open, so that's really cool. And then again, also the flag on the tail, nicely done, but mainly the camo is a real stunner. But yeah, that is a bit about the plane. The canopy is always hard to open, what I recall. I'm not a big fan, but then again, it's just me saying my thing. I'm not going to open this one either. I think it's way too rough. So I'm going to leave it without a pilot. Luckily mine is on the ground. But yeah, it's in the other movies I have opened them, but I always did it with a bit of a bad feeling because I'm afraid that something will break here. So that's a bit of a negative on this plane. So be careful with that, just my opinion. So you do what you want with it. Then again, the wheels, they fit really nicely. Sometimes they can stick a little bit on a hot day, I've noticed. But you don't have to worry about extra claps and flaps. These assemblies are already pre-installed ready. I believe the wheel was reversed. Yeah, the wheel is reversed, so that's good. And it's sitting very nicely, as you can see. Weight-wise, they're quite good. They're quite heavy, and they're also on the tail setting, like they would in real life. I can drop some pictures even. I have some pictures from the German museum in my posts. But the wheels are nicely done, nothing bad. Then let's have a look at weaponry, because it plane comes with a lot. It has quite a lot of rocket pods, also really cool. Let's see if this one was already opened. Now that's the nice thing, if your dealer goes and has a check for you on the plane, you already know that everything is a bit okay. So that's also a service that I would recommend if you're looking for a buyer, and we should go for. Then rocket pods are under the frame, so usually you have 2 fuel tanks there, but these are really detailed. I think one of the best rocket pods that I've seen in a while. Also the rear, very detailed, and even the little text and so on. Really nice. Then the missiles themselves, also really well detailed, again weathered. Watch out with these little packs, they can break. So be very gentle and careful. Same with this one. There's no magnets on these. Not like the Su-34 from JC Wings. Here also the fuel tank, although the lining is not perfect, but the details on the paint are really good. Looks like it's real, let's say, and then in scale. Also here the staining nicely done. And then the little missiles, also nicely done, really weathered and named and everything. Then the front closed edges, so everyone's on the airstrip setting. Let me get them, if I can grab them, they're quite small. And of course a pilot figure, nicely detailed with the helmet and so on. Always really good. But we're not going to use the pilot figure. Then, if you want to go a bit more realistic in your diorama, it's really cool to put the covers over them. Now, I don't have them on all my planes, but I do like it when I'm diorama picturing to put these covers on. Then let's check weaponry. That's the manual saying. So the fuel tanks are on the most far outer. And then we have a little missile in the middle. But let's see how easy they fit. Sometimes you need a bit of white glue, but be very patient, guys, and don't get frustrated. Take your time. If you don't have the time, just put it aside and wait till a later moment when you have some more time. And they're quite sensitive to put on. And I usually also have fuel tanks for here, but I think the worst one is going to be this one. Then the small missiles, they stick out far from the wing, by the way. I don't know what design that was in the Cold War era, but it's interesting looking. And then the giants themselves, yeah, let's see how that goes. I'm hoping that it's going to be easy, but I have a bad feeling that's not going to be easy. At least so far, I have always had quite a struggle with these weapons. These are quite good, actually. Now, this is what I mean with big stupid. It looks really awesome, in my opinion, but it's something you have to get used to if you don't know these planes. Then the rocket pods. Actually really clean fit, by the way. It feels a bit odd to see these weapons together, combined like this. But then again, it is a bit of Cold War era timing and it looks really brutal. The lining of them too is a bit poor. So this one is sitting a bit poorly, but not bad. Then the missile outer. I hope this one is just as smooth as its brother. Ooh, very clean fitting. A bit too clean maybe even. This is good. Wow, let's hope this next set will go as easy and that I didn't just jinx it, but so far so good. Then this one is a bit tougher. There it goes. I have to say, I'm very impressed. I don't know if Diecast Diorama did some time on it, I need to ask him. I've Talcon made some changes already. But the fitment was really good. It looks a bit retarded. There's big of a missile under the frame, but you already see the weight is taking over. Nah, this is what I mean. So I was already thinking that it's going to be too heavy. And I was quite right about it. So I have blue tack, white glue. You will solve this issue right away. I'm not sure if I have the right one on the right spot. I think so. But so as I always say, white glue to the rescue. Let's see. So what do I mean with white glue? The stupid paper glue that you used as a kid for your hobby project from school that you didn't like. This is a nice example of that. So your teacher is telling you to use this shit, and I never loved it. I think I hated school mainly, the base school at least. But yeah, let's see if that helps a little bit. I hope so. And this is, by the way, a tip that I had from Diecast diorama back in the day. So that tells you a little bit where I got it from. It helps usually a little bit with the fitment. Now, we're going to use this glue also right away for the pitot. Or the pitot, I don't know what the other one is, but one is a pitot, that's for sure. Now the baggie, I'm not going to open it. I'm going to not recycle it even. I always hate these little ones. Let's see. So we have the large one that goes on the right. And then the small one on the left. I've screwed this up a couple of times already in my time with these models. Because there's not really a clear image. Let's see. So there is a little pack on there. What I usually do, like butter, smear it a little bit in there, and then later on I'll remove it. But this is the trickiest part that you will have with this plane. Getting these little guys on there and properly sitting is a nightmare. I wish they would have solved it by now. I think a little pack would help a lot. Just a little insert or magnet, or make these from metal. I think all of that would have helped. But then again, who am I? I'm not the expert that makes these models. I don't think I would have even come near to make something like this. Let's see. This is really hard this time. So I mainly put some smearing on there. Yes, it's white, but at the end, let me get my camera a little more angle. So this is a struggle that I really want to share to give you a bit of an idea, like, is this something for you? And if you want one, this is something you have to deal with, unfortunately. I think blue tack would work a little bit better, but then again, I don't see them often in the Netherlands, those little tags. So I always have to deal with white glue for this. Now you could use second glue, but then again, you're lost in the genre. It's permanent. So yeah, if you know that you're not going to sell it ever, which most people always say, but they eventually do. Yeah, I don't recommend it to just use some white glue. This one luckily has a bit of a better fitment. But then again, it's very weak on there, so it can easily fall off again if you hit it in the cabinet. So just always keep in mind that it's glued. If it dries up, usually it sits quite well. But then again, this one is a bit trickier than I'm used to. Mainly because maybe I'm doing this while filming, so I maybe do this later on without the film. It's sitting now, but I'm going to have to clean it up a little bit because I see a lot of materials. I'm going to take a toothpick and clean this up a bit. But I'll see you guys on the rotisserie table in a sec, and I'll let you know how it goes. And there she is. So what I did, I took a little prikker, or like a big toothpick, let's say, meat punch, I don't know how to call these things, and I cleaned the glue up a little bit. I have to say they're very weakly on there. I think a blue tack dot would do a lot better, but then again, you have the big white glob there, so it's a choice. The weapon fitment, very good for this one, for this time. The stand, if you want to use it, check the Polish movie, I recommend it. It's the one that I have in my playlist under reviews, and you can see it, it's really cool. Then the plane sits like under an angle upstairs. But for us, very cool plane, colors perfect, fitment very good, 10 out of 10 for me. Price is quite high, 130 euros here. But with the discount code from Dutch Diecast Collector at Diecast Diorama, you can save yourself a nice 10% off. So head to that DDC code 10, DDC10. I'll drop a tag in my link, in my bio from this movie, and you can use it anytime you want. I want to thank you guys again for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. It's always very welcome. And hope to see you guys next time on the next episode. Bye-bye.